pause for a moment and breathe. Yes, truly breathe, not the mechanical, rushed kind we've learned out of habit, but with presence and intention, as if this simple act could unlock the doors to another level of existence. Now, let me ask you a profound question. What if I told you that the key to transforming your mind, healing your body, and rewriting your destiny has always been right under your nose? Nobody ever told you. This is not a metaphor. What I'm about to reveal in this video is knowledge that ancient cultures guarded jealously. A breathing technique so powerful, so transformative, that it was only taught to advanced disciples, those ready to awaken their true inner sovereignty. In today's bustling world, where rush, stress, and distraction have become the norm, we've lost touch with the most fundamental tool we have for regulating our vital energy: conscious breathing. We were taught to look outside ourselves for costly therapies, external formulas, or promises from others, when the ultimate alchemy lies within us, in every inhalation and exhalation. Today, science is slowly beginning to confirm what Taoist sages, Indian yogis, and shamans of ancient civilizations already knew without laboratories or brain scans. The way we breathe not only nourishes our lungs, but regulates our nervous systems, harmonizes the brain, strengthens the heart, and awakens the inner radar that shapes our reality. In this video, we will unveil knowledge that has remained hidden, in plain sight, the mystery of the vagus nerve and how to activate it, the hidden role of Otha, forgotten hero of your body, the 4-7-8 breathing technique, the master key to synchronizing body, mind, and spirit. You'll learn how, by mastering your breath, you can activate your brain's reticular activating system to consciously attract the experiences you wish to live. This is not just theory. I will provide real examples, vivid metaphors, and actionable practices that will allow you to experience, starting today, the power that arises when you breathe with awareness and focus. Because when you master your breath, you do more than oxygenate your body. You reprogram your life. So take a deep breath, open your mind, and join me. What you're about to discover could transform the way you live. Since the dawn of human consciousness, sages, mystics, and alchemists across cultures have intuited something that modern science is only beginning to decipher. Breathing is not merely a biological process, but a sacred actor, bridge between matter and spirit. However, at some point in our recent history, this wisdom fell into oblivion. The rise of industrialization, the frantic pace of modern life, and humanity's growing disconnection from its own body relegated conscious breathing to a forgotten corner of human knowledge. We breathe to survive, but we do not breathe to live. Fully rediscovering this practice today is an act of spiritual rebellion. It is a reminder that within every inhalation and exhalation lies unlimited potential. Every conscious breath is a silent declaration of inner freedom, a reaffirmation that true power does not reside in what we possess, but in how we manage our vital energy. Until now, we have glimpsed that conscious breathing has been recognized by ancient traditions as a gateway to the expansion of life itself. But what exactly happens in the body, the mind, and the energy field when we breathe consciously, slowly, and deeply? What is the true mechanism behind this seemingly simple act? To understand, imagine for a moment that your body is a large power plant. In this system, breathing is the master generator that powers every system, every cell, and every thought. When we breathe shallowly and rapidly, as most people do today, our power plant runs at half capacity. Systems do not receive enough oxygen or energy. Toxins are not efficiently eliminated, and the mind remains clouded and erratic. When we breathe deeply, something extraordinary happens. We activate the vagus nerve, a powerful structure connecting the brain to the body's most important organs, the heart, lungs, stomach, and intestines. This nerve is part of the parasympathetic system, known as the regeneration and rest system, responsible for healing, digestion, balance, and repair. By activating the vagus nerve through conscious breathing, we lower the heart rate, reduce cortisol, stress hormone, and release acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that induces calm, mental clarity, and emotional balance. Beyond these physiological effects, what the sages knew and what science is only beginning to demonstrate is that activating the vagus nerve also opens subtle energy channels. Taoists called it opening the central channel. Yogis refer to activating the sushumna, the channel through which Kundalini energy rises. This also brings us to the often overlooked role of carbon dioxide. We were taught to fear it, to see it only as toxic waste. But in reality, a balanced level of CO is essential for oxygen to be efficiently released into cells. When we breathe shallowly and expel too much CO, cells receive less oxygen, weakening overall vitality. This is why techniques like the 4-7-8 breathing method, inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 7, exhaling for 8, naturally prolong the presence of CO, facilitating more efficient gas exchange and a state of deep calm. From an energetic perspective, the gentle retention of breath creates a kind of internal pressure that propels vital energy toward the spine, nourishing endocrine glands such as the pineal, pituitary, and thyroid, activating intuition and rejuvenating the organs. Let's summarize what happens in each cycle of conscious breathing. First, deep inhalation expands the lungs, massages the heart, and opens the chest meridians. Second, brief retention increases CO, facilitates oxygen absorption, and elevates energy to higher centers. Third, prolonged exhalation activates the vagus nerve, induces deep relaxation, and releases tension. Fourth, pause at the end of exhalation creates a fertile void where the mind enters an expansive state of silence. This flow not only regulates biological functions, but also harmonizes vital energy prana, or Qin blocks energy centers, chakra, or densyans, and strengthens the auric field. enhancing resilience, personal magnetism, and subtle perception. The most fascinating part is that all of this happens without external substances, expensive devices, or complex rituals. Just you, your body, and your breath. You are the technology. Now that you understand the essential mechanics of conscious breathing and its profound impact on your energetic and biological system, it's time to explore the nuances that separate the casual practitioner from the true breath alchemist. As the Taoist sages taught, it's not enough to know the river, you must learn to navigate its invisible currents. The first fundamental nuance is the quality of intention. Whenever you practice any breathing technique, the state of your mind and emotions permeates the energy you generate. If you practice in haste, anxiety, or impatience, that vibration seeps into your energy field, limiting the benefits. Ancient masters emphasized cultivating an attitude of reverence, gratitude, and serenity before beginning any breathwork. Before you start, sit or stand and bring your awareness to your heart. Pause and silently set a high intention. May this breath harmonize me, revitalize me, and connect me to the purest essence of my being. Intention aligns mind, body, and energy, exponentially enhancing the effects of your practice. The second nuance is gradual progression. One reason these techniques were hidden or taught only to initiates is that excess energy, if mismanaged, can create imbalances. People with a weakened nervous system or strong emotional blockages may experience dizziness, palpitations, anxiety, or even disturbing dreams if they push the practice too hard. The rule is small but consistent. Start with 3 to 5 minutes. Put a day and increase gradually. Pay attention to your body's signals. If you feel revitalized, centered, and serene, you're on the right path. If discomfort arises, reduce the intensity and duration. The third nuance is body alignment. Imagine your spine as a cosmic antenna. If it's slouched or collapsed, energy flow is interrupted. When practicing, ensure your spine is upright, your chin slightly tucked, aligning the spinal column with the crown gently pointing toward the sky. This posture opens the central channel, facilitating qi circulation and optimizing the effect of each breath. The fourth essential aspect is grounding. As you raise your energy with breath, maintain a firm connection to the earth. Visualize roots of light extending from the base of your spine and the soles of your feet deep into the earth's core. This visualization balances upward energy flow with a downward anchor, preventing dispersal or disconnection. Finally, integration into daily life. The goal is not to make conscious breathing an isolated or sporadic practice. True mastery occurs when conscious breathing weaves into every moment of your day while walking, talking, working, and even resting. Conscious breathing is the invisible thread that unites every experience with absolute presence. Taoists said the sage breathes from the heels, while the common person fills only the chest. This means that deep, silent, and constant breath is a sign of energetic mastery and longevity. To summarize the key principles of this stage: 1. elevated intention. 2. Gradual progression. 3. Posture and alignment. 4. Firm grounding. 5. Daily integration. Those who honor these 5 pillars not only experience vitality and clarity, but also enter into resonance with the cosmic breath of the universe itself, attuning to the natural rhythms that sustain all life. Knowing a secret is a privilege, but living it is an act of mastery. Now that you understand the fundamentals and nuances of conscious breathing, the next step is to incorporate this ancient art into your daily life naturally, fluidly, and consistently, because wisdom lies not only in isolated technique, but in transforming every moment into a sacred act of presence and energy. Next, I want to share 7 practical keys designed to help you cultivate this inner power in a simple, coherent, and deeply effective way. First, the morning grounding ritual. As soon as you wake up, before touching your phone or rushing out, sit at the edge of your bed or in a comfortable spot. Close your eyes. Place your hands on your lower abdomen band. Take 10 slow, deep breaths. Visualize drawing in clean, luminous energy with each inhalation, and releasing tension and heaviness with each exhalation. This simple act anchors your energy, clarifies your mind, and establishes a harmonious field for your entire day. Second, the transitional breath between important activities. Before a meeting, upon arriving home, or prior to a meaningful conversation, pause for 2 minutes. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Repeat 5 times. This exercise resets your nervous system, preventing stress or mental scattering from carrying over from one activity to the next. Third, walking with breath awareness. As you walk, whether to work, the store, or on a stroll, synchronize your steps with your breathing. 4 steps while inhaling, 4 steps while exhaling. This habit calms the mind, strengthens the legs, and energizes the body, turning every walk into active meditation. Fourth, the inner smile while breathing. With each inhalation, form a slight internal smile, even if it isn't visible externally. This smile generates a vibration of gratitude and serenity that permeates your energy, instantly raising your vibrational frequency. Fifth, the nighttime cleansing breath. Before sleep, lie on your back, close your eyes, and take gentle, deep breaths while visualizing the release of stress and accumulated emotions from the day. This clears your energy field, relaxes the nervous system, and prepares the body for restorative sleep. Sixth, the conscious reminder. Place small visual cues, a special stone, a note, a symbol in key locations, such as your desk, mirror, or car steering wheel. Each time you see them, take 3 conscious breaths. This anchoring keeps your practice alive, even in the busiest moments. Seventh, the breath journal. At the end of each day, write in a notebook how many times you practiced conscious breathing, how you felt afterward, and any changes you noticed in your energy or emotions. This exercise strengthens self-observation, reinforces the habit, and allows you to track your personal evolution. By applying these 7 keys, you will cultivate an increasingly powerful, serene, and resilient energy field. Over time, you will notice greater mental clarity, improved emotional regulation, enhanced health, and a deep sense of connection with life. We have traveled a path that not only leads to intellectual understanding, but also reconnects us with the very source of life that pulses within us. What we have revealed is not merely a breathing technique, it is a portal to inner mastery, a key that opens the doors to a forgotten power residing deep within your being, across civilizations. The sages understood that breath is not just air, but prana, chi, spirits, the cosmic energy that nourishes all forms of existence. They taught that he who masters his breath masters his mind, and he who masters his mind governs his destiny. Today, you have remembered this truth. We have seen how conscious breathing activates the vagus nerve, harmonizes the nervous system, elevates vital energy, and awakens higher perception. We have explored how the combination of intention, posture, rhythm, and consistency transforms every inhalation and exhalation into an alchemical act. Above all, we have understood that true power is not found outside of us, but in the way we manage our inner energy in each moment. The modern world has tried to disconnect us from this wisdom. We were taught to breathe shallowly, to live in a hurry, to seek solutions outside ourselves that can only be found within. Today, with each conscious breath, you rebel against that forgetting. Today, you reclaim your energetic sovereignty. But do not stop here. What you have learned is only the threshold of a broader path. Breath is the foundation upon which you can build a life of vibrant health, clear mind, balanced emotions, and expanded spirit. Every day is an opportunity to refine your mastery, tune your energy, and transform your reality from the inside out. If this knowledge has resonated with you, if you have felt the call to reconnect with your inner power, share this wisdom, expand this energy, and allow others to also remember this map toward holistic harmony. Subscribe to this channel, activate the notification bell, and like this video so we can continue exploring the teachings that, since time immemorial, have guided seekers toward balance, longevity, and transcendent truth. Stay tuned for upcoming videos where we will reveal more esoteric techniques, ancient teachings, and practices that strengthen the body, awaken the mind, and expand the soul. This path does not end here. Every conscious breath is one more step toward your complete awakening. May deep peace, radiant clarity, and vibrant vitality accompany you with every inhalation and exhalation. In 1912, a collector discovered a manuscript with no date, no title, and no author, written in a language that doesn't exist. It has over 240 pages, and none of them have ever been deciphered. It is one of the greatest mysteries of the last century, and one of the biggest obsessions in the academic and cryptographic world. For more than 100 years, the world's best cryptographers have tried to solve it. In the 1970s, even the CIA and the NSA took a shot at it. Universities like Harvard, Cambridge, and Oxford have scanned, classified, and analyzed it for decades. Thousands of researchers have become obsessed with it. There are forums, blogs, and entire communities dedicated solely to this book. More than 80 theories have been proposed about its origin, and yet no one has been able to understand a single word. This is the story of the Voynich Manuscript. What's most puzzling is that the text seems to make sense. There are rules, repetitions, and patterns that behave like those of a real language. The vocabulary follows statistical laws. The words group into categories. Some appear only in certain sections, and others repeat internal structures. But all that order still leads. Nowhere no translation. At first glance, the Voynich Manuscript looks like just another old book. It's bound in leather. Nothing unusual until you open it. The pages aren't paper, but thick parchment, the kind used centuries ago. Some even fold out like maps. Everything is written in ink that remains legible despite the passage of time. The most surprising thing is how orderly it all is. No mistakes, no erasures, no signs of improvisation. Every line, every symbol, every illustration is placed with precision, as if whoever wrote it had planned everything from the very beginning. The book has over 240 pages, though it's believed at least 20 have been lost. It bears no clear relation to any known alphabet. Not Latin, not Arabic, not Greek. Nothing. Some symbols resemble cursive letters, others numbers, and some nothing at all. Is it an artificial language, a lost one? Or maybe it was never a language in the first place. Marcy ended his letter saying that he awaited news, hoping that Providence would enlighten Kircher's genius in this endeavor. He was asking for help from one of the greatest scholars of the time, telling him that only someone like him, capable of deciphering hieroglyphs and lost languages, could solve such a mystery. He even sent copies and fragments of the text, hoping for a response. But even back in 1665, the Voynich Manuscript was already an unsolvable problem. Marcy also mentioned that he believed the author was Roger Bacon, an English philosopher, scientist, and cleric from the 13th century, far ahead of his time. He studied optics, physics, and mathematics, and was one of the first Europeans to experiment with magnifying glasses and lenses that made the theory fascinating. If Bacon was the author, then some illustrations could make sense. Many pages show what look like cellular structures or microorganisms, drawn with surprising accuracy. The problem: microscopes capable of showing that level of detail weren't invented until the 17th century, 4 centuries later. Another theory soon appeared that the book was an early work of Leonardo da Vinci. The manuscript's drawings are clumsy, clearly not by a professional artist. That could point to someone amateurish, like young Leonardo. On one astrological page, there are 15 women's, some of them pregnant, surrounding a circle that looks like a calendar. Each one holds a star, symbolizing birth, and at the center is Aries, the zodiac sign for April. The connection seems far-fetched. 15 pregnant women. Aries. April 15th, Leonardo da Vinci's birthday. Coincidence? Maybe. But with the most mysterious book in the world, nothing gets dismissed too quickly. And if anyone had the mind, the obsession, and the talent to create something like this from scratch, it could have been Leonardo da Vinci even before the world knew who he was. But the issue is that the parchment is of extremely high quality, larger than the standard size of the time. It contains fold-out pages, which were very expensive by the cutting and binding show. It was prepared by a professional, not an amateur. It was a carefully planned work that must have taken years, requiring resources, skilled labor, access to costly materials, and time. That led to another hypothesis. What if it was a forgery created by the very man who found it? Wilfrid Voynich was a dealer of rare books. He knew the market and exactly what details could make a manuscript appear authentic. After discovering it, his reputation skyrocketed. He gained recognition, contacts, prestige, and money. The manuscript attracted worldwide attention, and the book's history is murky. There are no solid records of how it reached his hands, simply appeared, with no verifiable past. The writing itself is suspicious, too clean, no errors, no correction, something almost unheard of in medieval manuscripts, which usually show lots of edits and strike-throughs. However, in the early 2000s, radiocarbon dating was performed. The parchment was made between 1404 and 1438, with 95% accuracy. The pigments were also authentic to that period, with no modern materials. And the tests revealed no traces of chemical manipulation. The conclusion: the manuscript is genuine, ancient, and not a hoax. One page shows something unique, the only recognizable structure in the entire manuscript, a walled city. And not just any wall. The towers feature a very specific design, a swallowtail pattern shaped like an inverted V. That detail changes everything. Since this type of fortification only existed in northern Italy between the 14th and 15th centuries, Marci Bletter also mentioned this. The book came into my hands thanks to a good friend, Dr. Raphael Misovius, who in turn inherited it from a colleague. Both dedicated great effort to studying it, but without success. So we know the manuscript was written between 1404 and 1438 in northern Italy. Then it was acquired by Rudolf II, later owned by Jacobus Sinopius, then by Georg Barisch, after his death by Jan Marek Marci, who in 1665 sent it to Kircher. From there, the trail is lost. What's clear is that we don't know who wrote it, and we can't decipher the text. The Voynich manuscript isn't just incomprehensible. It seems to have structure, order, and purpose. It's divided into 6 distinct sections. The first is botany. More than 100 plants, drawn with obsessive detail. But here's the problem. Most of them don't exist. Some have recognizable roots, stems, and leaves, but many don't resemble anything we know. They're either distortions of real species or simply not from this world. After that, the focus shifts completely. Circles, constellations, suns, moons, diagrams resembling star maps, zodiac signs. Everything suggests astronomy, something blending the two. Then come even stranger drawings, dozens of female figures, with no clear context and no obvious explanation. Just bodies, water, symbols, and lots of text, denser, more continuous, as if something important were being revealed there. Later, the manuscript looks to the skies again, medallions filled with stars, symbols that seem to represent systems, or orbits. There are 9 of these diagrams, each different. Then the plants return, but now alongside jars, bottles, and instruments. They no longer look like simple botanical illustrations, but like preparations of medicinal compounds. At the end, the illustrations almost disappear, leaving only blocks of dense text, almost uninterrupted. Short fragments are headed by small symbols, as if marking instructions, steps, or formulas. No drawings to guide the reader, just words no one can read. In what seems to be the most direct and perhaps the most important part of the manuscript, it has been estimated that the text contains more than 170,000 characters, arranged into words of between 2 and 10 letters. There is no chaos or improvisation. The text has rhythm and logic. At least 22 basic symbols are repeated, though occasional isolated ones appear. Some resemble Latin lowercase letters, others numbers, and some nothing at all. Curiously, the script is written left to right, like most European languages. This suggests something important. The author had a system. These weren't random symbols. He was writing with rules, with structure. But even if it looks like a real language, it matches none we know. One of the first ideas was that it wasn't a language at all, but a code, a classical cipher replacing letters with symbols, rearranging order or altering vowels. Such methods were used to conceal confidential information like state secrets or alchemical formulas. And that made sense, because ciphers aren't a modern invention. For centuries, they were essential tools for kings, alchemists, soldiers, spies, and scientists. One of the oldest was the famous Caesar cipher, used by Julius Caesar to send secret orders to his troops. The method was simple. Shift each letter, pi of the alphabet, by a fixed number of places. For example, if the message was attack and you shifted by 3, it became doubt. Be easy to crack today, but effective in its time. Later, more complex ciphers emerged. Alchemists began inventing symbols or mixing languages, not only to protect their knowledge, but also to avoid accusations of witchcraft. It was common to find Latin, Greek, and Hebrew in a single phrase, mixed with astrological or alchemical symbols. Other methods dropped vowels, wrote only the first half of each word, or used key books. The receiver had to own the same book as the sender and use specific pages as a guide to read the message. Even by the 15th century, encryption techniques were already advanced. In Italy, for instance, Powerful families sent letters encoded with polyalphabetic substitution, where the alphabet shifted throughout the text to avoid repeated patterns sophisticated enough to make them unreadable without the key dot. And the Voynich fits perfectly into this idea. Hidden meaning, forbidden knowledge, perhaps reserved for only a few. But here lies the problem. Every cipher starts from a real language, Latin, Hebrew, Italian, something underneath. In the Voynich, there's no trace of any base language, no recognizable words, no roots, no structure to reconstruct. Real ciphers also tend to leave irregularities, uncoded fragments, stray words, inconsistencies. The Voynich, on the other hand, is too perfect, too clean, too consistent, as if it weren't disguising a language at all, but inventing one from scratch. And yet, when analyzed as if it were a real language, it behaves like one. The manuscript follows Zipf's law, a statistical rule present in all human languages. The most common word occurs twice as often as the second, 3 times as often as the third, and so on. This pattern appears in English, Spanish, Chinese, Arabic ways, even in short messages or poetry. The Voynich follows that curve perfectly. Frequent words, intermediate ones, and rare ones. That doesn't happen with random symbols or a system invented without logic. And there's more within the manuscript. There are 2 clear variants of the language A and language B. The first dominates most of the text. The second appears mainly in the Women and Stars sections. And it's not just about words. The stroke changes. The rhythm changes. The style changes completely. This has led to the idea that it wasn't written by a single person. Perhaps there were 2 authors, or even 4 different hands working in secret. The text also shows an extremely rigid internal structure, so rigid it almost seems mechanical. Some letters appear only at the beginning of words, others only at the end. Certain combinations repeat again and again, as if they were fixed syllables, while others never appear together. Compared to Spanish, the Voynich is much more predictable. For example, in our language, the letter Q is almost always followed by U in the Voynich. Those relationships are even stricter. Some symbols always appear together, without exception. When the text gives no answers, another path remains: the images. Many have tried to find patterns between the drawings and the words around them. In the botanical section, for instance, some terms appear only next to roots, stems, or flowers. This suggested they might be plant names, ingredients, or treatments. The same happens in the astrological sections. Certain blocks of text appear right below zodiac signs or constellations. And so, a hypothesis arises. What if it's written B in a real language, but one that's completely lost? A real-world example of what could have happened with the Voynich is Rongo. Rongo, a mysterious script from Easter Island carved into wooden tablets. Its symbols repeat, patterns are visible, and its structures behave like a real language. It's not a modern invention or a forgery. Everything points to it being authentic. with rules, grammar, and meaning. Over 20 tablets have been found, all with the same signs: human figures, animals, geometric shapes, and combinations that look like complete phrases or ideas. But there's a problem. No one can read them. Not because the code is complex, but because the language disappeared. It died with the island's inhabitants, and no one remained who could teach it, translate it, or even say how it sounded. With them, its meaning was lost forever. What if the same thing happened with the Voynich? What if we're looking at a real language from a civilization that no longer has a voice? Others believe the opposite, that it's not a lost language, but an invented one, constructed language built from scratch, like Esperanto, a full creation, not a copy, not a coda, new language. Another widely accepted theory was proposed by Gordon Rugg, a researcher at Keele University in the UK. According to him, the manuscript means absolutely nothing. It could have been generated using a tool known as the Cardano grill, a technique used to create fake texts. With this method, anyone with a grid and some patience could build a text that seemed structured, repeated patterns, and imitated the statistics of a real language but actually meant nothing. This would explain why the Voynich Manuscript has no corrections. You simply can't make mistakes. For more than 100 years, the Voynich Manuscript has been analyzed letter by letter, symbol by symbol, structure by structure. And today, we are exactly where Wilfrid Voynich was in 1912, holding a book in our hands. Unable to read it today, no one knows who wrote it. No one knows why. No one has managed to decipher it. And the truth is, maybe we never will. Since ancient times, humanity has turned to certain substances to alter its perception of reality. Among them, alcohol has always held a special place. It has been celebrated in festivals, prescribed as medicine in antiquity, and embraced as pleasure, a symbol of pleasure, escape, and even communion. Yet few pause to question its true nature. What happens when we look at alcohol not as a social lubricant or entertainment, but through the lens of the spirit? The very word alcohol comes from the Arabic alcohol or oghul, terms used in medieval alchemy to describe a fine black powder. Hidden within this etymology is a deeper meaning, a force that separates the essence from the body. Symbolically, this is precisely what occurs when alcohol is consumed. It fragments awareness, disconnects spirit from matter, and weakens the bridge between the physical and the divine. But what if alcohol does more than cloud the mind and damage the body? What if it also veils the soul, obscuring our perception of higher realms? In this exploration, we will dive into the spiritual consequences of drinking alcohol. We will trace its mystical origins, examine its relationship with vital energy, and uncover how it reshapes human consciousness. We will revisit the ancient warnings from esoteric teachings to ancestral traditions that spoke of its hidden dangers. The double face of alcohol throughout history. Alcohol has been both praised as a drink of the gods and condemned as a trial for the human spirit. Civilizations across the world used it in sacred rituals, celebrations, and even shamanic practices. Yet spiritual and philosophical traditions rarely agreed on its role. In Buddhism, the fifth precept warns against intoxicants, teaching that they cloud the mind, generate negative karma, and distance the practitioner from awakening. In Hinduism, the sacred soma is revered, but ordinary alcohol is viewed as an obstacle to ascension. In Islam, the Quran is unequivocal. Alcohol is a deception of Satan, leading humanity away from truth and clarity. In Christianity, wine appears in the Bible and in the Last Supper itself. Yet many sects condemned its abuse as a gateway to sin and loss of control over the soul. In shamanic traditions, powerful plants are used for healing and vision, but alcohol is rarely part of purification. In fact, some shamans claim that alcohol opens portals for low vibrational entities to attach themselves to the drinker. The spiritual disconnection Siddharic teachings describe the human being as more than flesh and bone. We are surrounded by fields of vibration, what many call the aura, the astral body, or the subtle vehicles of consciousness. In a sober state, these fields remain coherent and protective. Under intoxication, however, this natural shield weakens in drunkenness. Consciousness fragments, willpower diminishes, and the astral body becomes unstable. It is in this state that heavy emotions, anger, grief, confusion take over, and external energies find their way in. This is why so many cultures refer to alcohol as spirits. The drink is not only fermented matter, but also a key that can open doors to unseen dimensions. Ancient mystics taught that the refinement of the soul required purity of body, mind, spirit. Substances that disrupted this balance were considered obstacles on the path to illumination. Alcohol, far from being a harmless indulgence, was seen as a subtle solvent of the spirit of force that could dissolve awareness itself. The vibrational descent, everything in the universe vibrates by states such as love, gratitude, and peace carry elevated frequencies. Heavy states such as fear, anger, or attachment resonate at lower frequencies. Practices like fasting, meditation, and communion with nature raise vibration, while in pull it downward, alcohol lowers the vibrational frequency of the human energy field. A person who drinks heavily feels their aura weaken, leaving the astral body exposed. The descent invites dense emotions to dominate, creating confusion and despair. Many report a sense of emptiness or oppression after drinking, as though something foreign had entered their energetic space. The higher self-silence, perhaps the greatest spiritual cost of alcohol, is the disconnection from the higher self, the inner guide, the silent voice of wisdom. When the body is intoxicated, clarity fades, intuition is muffled, and the divine spark within is muted. In yogic tradition, enlightenment requires the flow of prana-vital energy through clear and open channels. Alcohol blocks this flow, especially within the chakras. The third eye, or ajna, becomes clouded, weakening intuition and vision. The solar plexus, or manipura, which governs willpower and discipline, loses strength. leaving one vulnerable to impulses and external influence. A hidden knowledge from sages of old to major world religions. The message is consistent. Alcohol is more than a physical drink. It is an agent of separation, an energetic disruptor, a shadow over consciousness. What we consume does not only shape our bodies, it reshapes our vibration, our awareness, and our connection with the universe. To understand alcohol spiritually, to recognize that every sip has consequences beyond the material. It touches the soul, lowers the shield of the spirit, and distances us from the higher frequencies of truth. Put the throat chakra and the illusion of alcohol, the throat chakra, known in Sanskrit as Vishuddha, governs communication and truth. When this center is clouded, our words lose alignment with the higher self. This is why so many people, under the influence of alcohol, speak words they later regret, disconnected from wisdom and discernment. We become vulnerable to impulses and hidden desires. From a karmic perspective, every action carries weight in our spiritual evolution. If alcohol leads us to reckless behavior, we generate karma that must later be balanced. Broken promises, hurtful words, or even acts of aggression under its influence. We've karmic bonds with others' threads that may need resolution not only in this life, but in future incarnations. Over time, alcohol can become a karmic prison, repeating cycles of self-destruction and spiritual disconnection. Mystical traditions remind us the reality we experience is nothing but a reflection of our inner state. Clarity of mind and presence of spirit allow us to perceive the subtle patterns that shape existence. Yet alcohol creates a fog that blurs this perception. Under its spell, the mind is more susceptible to illusions and deceptions, unable to distinguish truth from falsehood in the path of inner alchemy. This confusion is seen as self-deception, a veil that distances the soul from its true mission. Spiritual awakening, say the mystics, is the art of lifting these veils. To seek truth, one must cultivate a clear mind, a pure heart, and an unshakable spirit. Alcohol, however, thickens the veil, delaying our union with universal wisdom. Another perspective is that of soul fragmentation. Across many ancient cultures, mystics and shamans described how trauma, unconscious acts, or choices against our inner voice can fracture the wholeness of the soul. When someone drinks excessively, moments of blackout or memory loss are not just failures of the brain. They represent temporary tears in the energetic field. Each episode of intoxication weakens the cohesion of the soul, leaving a lingering sense of emptiness. Those who have lived years in addiction often describe feeling as if a part of themselves has been lost. From an esoteric lens, this is not a metaphor, but an energetic reality. Healing then requires soul reintegration. Practices a return to unity. One of the fundamental laws of the universe is the law of attraction. Our vibration determines what we draw into our lives. Alcohol alters that vibration, lowering it, tuning us into chaotic frequencies. As a result, life mirrors that dissonance, relationships falter, conflicts intensify, unexpected problems arise. This is not coincidence, is resonance. Sages have long taught that harmony requires purity of thought, emotion, and action. Pay substances that alter consciousness disrupt that balance, distancing us from our highest purpose. Esoteric teachings also speak of spiritual guardians, luminous beings who guide and protect souls along their path. Yet these guardians work with consciousness and free will. When alcohol clouds the mind and emotions, their light cannot intervene with the same strength. In those moments, the soul drifts, exposed to forces that do not serve its growth. To walk the path of awakening, one must remember every choice shapes not only this moment, but eternity. And the throat chakra, the sacred gateway of truth, requires clarity, not intoxication, to fully resonate with the divine. Asterisk in that state, a person becomes more vulnerable to external influences, whether it is dense energies, destructive thoughts, or lower astral entities. The spiritual field weakens. This is why many ancient cultures regarded alcohol as something that broke the bond with the divine. They believed that the spirit must remain firm and rooted at its center in order to receive guidance and protection along the sacred path. Up to this point, we have uncovered the spiritual consequences of alcohol, the fragmentation of the soul, the distortion of perception, the attraction of heavy energies, and the disconnection from the higher self. Yet, esoteric wisdom does not merely warn of dangers. It also provides pathways to heal, cleanse, and restore clarity. Next, we will explore practical and spiritual methods to cleanse the energetic field, reawaken the connection with higher consciousness, strengthen inner will. For all ancient traditions, the purity of the body was seen as a reflection of the purity of the soul. When the body has been affected by substances that weaken its vibration, it becomes essential to begin a process of both physical and spiritual detoxification. Sacred practices for purification. Conscious fasting. Fasting allows the body to eliminate accumulated toxins and return to its natural balance. In many traditions, fasting is a doorway to cleanse not only the body, but also the mind and spirit. Herbal infusions. Plants such as milk thistle, dandelion, and nettle have long been used to purify the liver, the organ most harmed by alcohol. Solar-charged water. Drinking water exposed to the sun in a blue glass container is believed to recharge vital energy and clear harmful energetic imprints. Spiritual practices for clarity. Mindful meditation, focusing on the breath, calms the mind and restores mental control. Automatic writing, journaling thoughts and emotions, allows unconscious patterns to surface and be released. Sacred silence, spending time away from noise and distractions, strengthens the connection with the inner voice. The aura and chakras are deeply affected by alcohol, often leaving cracks and imbalances in the subtle field. To restore harmony, one must work on energetic healing, salt and herb baths, immersing in water infused with sea salt and plants like rosemary or lavender removes stagnant energies. Grounding practices, walking barefoot on earth, reach us to the planetary field and stabilizes the energy body. Sacred fire cleansing, lighting a candle or burning incense with clear intention is an ancient way to purify personal energy. High vibration sounds, mantras, Tibetan bowls, and sulfur-dew frequencies can repair imbalances in the aura and realign the chakras. When alcohol disrupts the connection with the higher self, it becomes vital to restore the link with the divine essence. This is not done overnight. It requires consistency, introspection, and openness of heart. Prayer and devotion. Regardless of belief, the act of sincerely raising intention and communicating with the divine is powerful. Sacred symbols, working with spiritual archetypes, sigils, and geometric patterns, reminds the soul of its higher nature. The journey is one of cleansing, remembrance, and return. A return to the clarity of spirit, to the strength of will, and to the guidance of the higher self that never left, only waited for us to listen once more. Meditating with sacred geometry. Practices such as contemplating the flower of life or the Sri Yantra help align human consciousness with higher planes of reality. The golden cord visualization. Imagining a ray of golden light descending from the crown chakra and extending infinitely into the cosmos is a powerful technique to restore the spiritual connection that alcohol often disrupts. For those who have used alcohol as an escape or a social habit, it becomes essential to reconfigure the relationship with the substance and with one's own identity. Techniques for inner transformation. Powerful affirmations. Repeating phrases such as, "My body is a temple of pure energy," or "I am in harmony with my true essence," helps anchor new beliefs into the subconscious. Changing habits and environments. Surrounding oneself with people and spaces that elevate consciousness and personal growth is key to sustaining transformation. Self-healing practices, energy therapy, conscious hypnosis, and transpersonal psychology can help address the deeper roots of alcohol use. True spiritual transformation is not simply about quitting alcohol. It is about reclaiming sovereignty over one's own consciousness. The vital force that was once scattered through intoxication can be redirected towards expanding perception, elevating vibration, and aligning with the purpose of the soul. The path of healing is ultimately a return to inner power, a return to the wisdom of the ancients, a return to the eternal light that lives within every being. Final reflection. This journey through the spiritual consequences of alcohol has revealed an undeniable truth. This substance does not only alter the body and the mind, it profoundly impacts energy, soul, and divine connection. Across cultures and throughout history, countless traditions have warned us. Alcohol was never seen only as an intoxicating liquid, but as a veil that clouds perception and distances the individual from their purest essence. Yet, the true teaching is not about fear or prohibition. It is about choice. The choice of clarity over confusion, consciousness over illusion, elevation over stagnation. Every human being is free to decide what to consume, what to allow into the body, and what to feed the soul. But with that freedom comes responsibility to remain aware of the consequences of each choice. Spiritual awakening is not about denying the material world. It is about learning to navigate it without falling into its traps. Yes, it is possible to live in joy, fullness, and deep connection without substances that fragment energy and weaken spirit. And if you have reached this point, it is because something deep within you is searching, an inner call to clarity, balance, and expansion of consciousness. That is the real key to return to yourself, to reconnect with your power, to vibrate in your highest expression. The choice is yours. You hold the power to transform your energy, to restore your essence, and to walk toward a higher version of yourself. There exists an ancient principle that has been whispered through the ages, hidden in sacred texts, in the architecture of lost civilizations, and in the very essence of nature, as above, so below. 6 words that encapsulate knowledge so profound that truly understanding them could change your life and your perception of the universe forever. But what does it really mean? Is it merely a poetic metaphor? Or does it hold a hidden code about the very structure of existence? This Hermetic principle, drawn from the emerald tablet of Hermes Trismegistus, has guided philosophers, alchemists, and mystics for centuries. Some claim it contains the key to unlocking the mysteries of the cosmos, while others see it as a map to help us understand the connection between the universe and our own consciousness. Imagine for a moment that the vast universe and every atom within you are deeply intertwined, reflections of the same reality. What happens in the heavens manifests on earth, and what occurs in your mind and spirit projects into the outer world. This is the law of correspondence. Next, we will unravel its true meaning, explore its connection to ancient spiritual traditions, and, most importantly, reveal how you can apply this knowledge in your daily life to transform your reality. Stay until the end, because what you discover could change your perception of life forever. The principle of as above, so below is not just an abstract idea, is a universal truth that has been passed down through the centuries by different civilizations and spiritual traditions. Our journey begins with Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary Egyptian Greek sage credited with founding Hermetic. In his enigmatic emerald tablet, we find this powerful phrase: "That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below," to accomplish the miracles of one thing. But what does it truly mean? This principle tells us that there is an unbreakable connection between the micro and the macro, between the cosmos and the human being, between mind and matter. In other words, the same laws that govern the universe also govern our inner reality. In the Vedic tradition of India, it is said that the universe is a reflection of consciousness. The Upanishads speak of the interconnection between Brahman, the cosmic totality, and Atman, the inner self. The famous phrase Tevam Asi, literally means you are that, indicating that the universe and the human being are one. The Greek philosopher Plato also explored this principle in his renowned allegory of the cave. He explains that what we perceive with our senses is only a reflection of a higher reality, just as the shadows in the cave reflect the forms above. What exists in the realm of ideas shapes what happens in the physical world. In the Jewish Kabbalistic tradition, the tree of life, is a diagram representing the relationship between spiritual and material dimensions. Each sphere on this tree reflects an aspect of reality, showing that the divine and the earthly are connected through multiple levels of existence. If we observe nature, this principle becomes evident from the structure of atoms to the expansion of galaxies, from the branches of a tree to the neural networks in our brains. Everything follows the same sacred patterns. The golden spiral, the golden ratio, and fractals are proof that the universe replicates itself at different scales. So, if the laws that govern the universe also govern our existence, the key question becomes, how can we apply this principle, reform our lives to transform our reality? Prepare yourself for a revelation that will change the way you see the world. Now that we understand that as above, so below is more than a simple phrase, a crucial question arises. How does it manifest in our reality? Imagine the universe as a mirror, constantly reflecting what is happening within you. Your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs has a direct impact on what you experience in the outer world. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is a universal truth that the ancient sages deeply understood. The Kabbalion, an essential Hermetic text, states that the all is mind. This means that physical reality is a projection of the universal mind. What you think and feel translates into vibrations that shape your environment. If you live in fear, you will attract circumstances that reinforce that fear. If you focus on gratitude, you will see more reasons to be thankful. If you believe in your creative power, life will give you opportunities to demonstrate it. This principle is also found in Buddhism, which teaches that through our thoughts we create the world. Modern neuroscience confirms that our perception shapes our experience. Neurons in the brain reinforce mental patterns, creating a reality loop that can be either empowering or limiting. Just as planetary movements influence the Earth, our internal states influence our everyday life. Alchemists called this the law of correspondence, because the small reflects the large, and vice versa. A perfect example can be found in astrology. According to this ancient wisdom, the planets reflect cycles of internal transformation. They do not determine our destiny. Rather, they symbolize forces operating within us. In traditional Chinese medicine, the human body is viewed as a miniature universe. Each organ corresponds to an emotion, and each flow of energy reflects a greater cosmic order. When there is harmony within, there is health in the outer world. When you understand that what you emit is reflected back in your life, you gain immense power. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a co-creator of your destiny. If you constantly surround yourself with thoughts of scarcity, you will live in lack. But if you train your mind to see abundance everywhere, your reality will adjust to that vibration, not by magic, but because that is how the law of correspondence works. Think about this. A river flows because it is aligned with gravity. A tree grows because it receives light and nutrients. Your life transforms when you align your thoughts and actions with the universe. This principle not only explains how the world operates, but it also gives us the key to taking control of our existence. The question now is, how can we apply it practically? That will be the focus of the next section. What comes next is the most revealing part of all. We have already seen how the law of correspondence connects the macrocosm with the microcosm, thought with matter, and inner vibration with outer experience. But here is the most important point: how you can use this principle to your advantage. The answer is simple yet powerful: conscious alignment. If the universe is a reflection of yourself, then to change your reality, you must first change your inner vibration. This requires work on 3 fundamental levels: mind, emotions, and actions. Your thoughts are the first to shape your reality. Every idea you hold in your mind is a seed that will sprout in the outer world. The ancient sages knew this. Hermes Trismegistus taught that all creation is born first in the mind, before it manifests. Plato spoke of a world of ideas that is reflected in the physical world. The Buddha said, "You are what you think. You become what you believe." Try this practical exercise each morning before starting your day. Visualize your ideal life as if it is already happening. Feel the emotions of being in that state. It is not enough to just think about it. You must experience it internally. When you repeat this process consistently, the universe responds because you are vibrating at the frequency of what you wish to attract. The universe does not respond to mere words or scattered thoughts. It responds to the energy behind them. Your emotions are the key to accelerating any manifestation. Think about it. When you feel fear, your body tenses, your breathing changes, and you attract more situations that reinforce that fear. When you feel gratitude, your vibration rises and opportunities flow to you. The sages of all traditions taught this. Tibetan monks use compassion to elevate their vibration. Sufis practiced devotion to enter higher states of consciousness. Alchemists understood that inner transformation is the true spiritual goal. Practice this throughout your day. Take conscious pauses and observe how you feel. If your emotions are low, use gratitude to raise your energy. Gratitude is the vibration closest to abundance. Thinking and feeling are fundamental. But without action, the principle of as above, so below remains incomplete. Your vibration must manifest in concrete acts. If you believe in abundance but continue to act out of fear, the universe will respond with contradictions. Coherence between what you think, feel, and do is the key. Keep these tips in mind if you want more opportunities. Start by acting as if you are already at the level you wish to reach. If you want love in your life, begin by being loving toward others and yourself. If you seek success, adopt the habits and mindset of someone who has already achieved it. Remember, the universe does not respond to what you say you want it. Responds to what you demonstrate you are ready to receive when you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The universe has no choice but to reflect that harmony in your life. This brings us to the most important part: how to apply this daily to transform your reality. We have already explored the hidden power behind this Hermetic principle and how your thoughts, emotions, and actions affect your reality. But the most important question is, how do you apply it to see real change? The answer lies in 3 fundamental pillars used by the ancient mystics to tune into the laws of the universe. The first 60 minutes of your day determine your vibration for the next 24 hours. If you wake up rushed, stressed, or reading negative news, your energy aligns with chaos and difficulty. If you start with gratitude, meditation, or affirmations, your frequency shifts, and the universe responds in the same vibration. The mystics knew this. The Egyptians performed morning rituals to synchronize with the cosmic energy of the rising sun. Yogis practice routines like the sun salutation to activate their vital energy. Alchemists spoke of the golden hour, when the mind is most receptive to transformation. Dedicate the first 10 minutes of your day to writing down 3 things you are grateful for. Repeat a powerful affirmation, such as, "Today I align with the energy of success and abundance." Spend 5 minutes on conscious breathing to program your vibration. When you begin your day with intention, your external reality adjusts to your inner frequency. The universe manifests not only in the heavens and stars, but also in the people and situations around you. If you are surrounded by constant conflict, observe what you need to heal within yourself. If you attract opportunities, recognize that your vibration is aligned with abundance. The ancients knew this. Buddhists teach that reality reflects our inner perception. Shamans believe that what we judge in others is a lesson we have yet to integrate within ourselves. The Essenes spoke of the 7 mirrors of life, which reflect our fears, wounds, and lessons before reacting to any external situation. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me about myself? If something bothers you in another person, identify whether it is something you also need to work on within yourself. If you admire someone, recognize that those qualities also exist within you, and you must nurture them. When you understand that the outer world is your reflection, you can use every situation to evolve and elevate your vibration. The last thought you have before sleeping defines your reality, because your subconscious mind works on it while you rest. If you go to bed with worries, your mind will continue creating more problems. If, before sleeping, you visualize what you desire, the universe will begin to conspire in your favor. The ancients knew this. Egyptian mystics used sleep as a portal to connect with the divine, and the Sufis believed that the soul traveled to other planes while we slept. Nikola Tesla said that many of his brightest ideas came in states of deep relaxation before sleep. Imagine with complete clarity that your next day will be perfect. Write an intention for the day ahead, such as, tomorrow, everything flows in my favor with ease. Take a deep breath and feel gratitude for what you have now. Your last thought before sleeping becomes the first thought your mind processes upon waking. If there is one thing to remember from all this, it is this: the universe does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to the vibration you emit. When you align your energy with what you desire, life begins to move in your favor. Your relationships improve, your health balances, and your finances transform. If you want more love in your life, become a loving person. If you want success, adopt the habits of a successful person. If you seek peace, cultivate silence and meditation. As above, so below is not just a philosophical concept. It is an instruction manual for life. Now ask yourself, how will you apply this knowledge in your life? From today onward, everything we have explored leads to an inevitable conclusion. The reality you experience is a reflection of what is happening inside you. There is no separation between the material and the spiritual, between what occurs in your mind and what manifests in your life. But here is the true secret that few understand. You are the bridge between the divine and the earthly, the architect of your own destiny. If you think about it, everything you experience is a mirror of your energy, your thoughts, and the emotions you feed every day. If your inner world is chaotic, the outer world will respond by reflecting that disorder. If there is harmony within you, the situations you attract will align with that frequency. It is not magic or coincidence. It is a universal law that governs all existence. Ancient traditions knew this. From alchemy to the teachings of great mystics, we are told again and again that the key to changing the world lies in changing ourselves. Yet, this is where most people stop, waiting for transformation to come from outside instead of claiming their own power. The universe does not react to what you want. It reacts to who you are. If you act from scarcity, you will continue experiencing lack. If you act from abundance, everything you need will flow toward you. Imagine for a moment that your life is a reflection in a cosmic mirror. Every thought, every word, and every action is a stroke in the image projected into reality. If you want to change what appears in that mirror, it is not enough to complain or wish for something different. You must transform what is within you. Harmony, prosperity, and happiness do not arrive by chance. They emerge when you tune into them from within. So, how do you apply this practically? First, stop seeking answers outside of yourself. The key is not external. It is in how you interpret and respond to every experience. Second, cultivate the energy you wish to attract. If you seek love, become love. If you desire peace, plant peace within yourself. Third, act from certainty, not doubt. Live as if you are already the person you wish to be, and the universe will respond to that vibration. None of this is new. The Buddha taught that what you think, you become. Rumi said, "The universe is within you. Everything you seek, you already are." Alchemists affirmed that he who knows himself knows the universe. There are no hidden secrets, only forgotten truths that have always been before us. The question is, will you continue waiting for an external change, or will you take control of your reality? Because now you know the key has always been within you. If this knowledge resonates with you, if you feel ready to apply it in your life, then this is your moment. Share in the comments which part of this revelation impacted you the most. Share this message with those who need to hear it, and subscribe, because what comes in the next videos will take this understanding even further. The universe is a mirror. What will you reflect from now on? What if I told you that everything you believe about reality is an illusion? That the life you live, the opportunities that come your way, and even the obstacles you face are not accidents, but projections of something much deeper. For centuries, the guardians of esoteric knowledge have been persecuted, silenced, and eliminated. Why? Because they knew a secret, a powerful secret, that, if you discover and apply it, will completely change the way you experience the world. This is not just another video about motivation or positive thinking. It is a deep exploration of the metaphysical principles that govern the universe, revealed by mystics, alchemists, and sages throughout history, but also confirmed by modern science. The mind controls everything. It is not just an inspiring phrase. It is the master key that opens the doors to true power. From Hermetic teachings to quantum physics, the message has been the same. The reality you experience is a reflection of your consciousness. Why do you think books were burned, Gnostics were persecuted, and knowledge was transformed into dogma? Because a human being who masters their mind is a human being impossible to control. And now the question is, are you ready to open your eyes? If you are watching this video, it is no coincidence. Synchronicity has guided these words to you. Something within you is awakening. Join me on this journey as we unearth the secrets they don't want you to know. But be careful. Once you know the truth, you cannot go back to understand the true power of the mind. We must travel back in time, beyond what we were taught in schools, beyond the superficial explanations offered by modern science. We must return to the roots of a wisdom that was carefully buried and hidden throughout the century. The story of the mind as the creator of reality begins with the ancient Hermetists in the pyramids of Egypt, hidden in the shadows of sacred chambers. The sages of the ancient school of Thoth understood something that modern civilization is only beginning to glimpse. All is mind. The universe is mental. This was not just a metaphorical phrase, but a fundamental principle that defines the very structure of creation. According to the Hermetists, the universe is a vast field of mental energy, where every thought and every feeling shapes reality. Everything you see, everything you touch, everything you think is merely a manifestation of a primordial mental vibration. Long before modern physics suggested that matter is only condensed energy. Alchemists already understood that the transformation of physical matter was ultimately a matter of inner transformation of consciousness. For Celsus, a wise alchemist of the 10th century, the outer world is nothing more than the reflection of the inner mind. This idea can be traced further back to Plato's teachings, who, in his work The Republic, spoke of ideas or forms that existed in an eternal mental plane. For Plato, physical reality was nothing more than a shadow of a higher mental reality. In the Gnostic scriptures, considered so dangerous by the authorities of the medieval church, was said that human consciousness is not limited to the flesh, but is the true creator of the world. The material world, according to the Gnostics, was only a projection of the divine mind, a shadow of a deeper cosmic order. This knowledge was suppressed and distorted for centuries, for the Church feared the power of a humanity aware of its inherent divinity. Throughout the Middle Ages, the Rosicrucians and the Templars continued to guard these secrets in their rituals and sacred texts. The Rosicrucians, a mystical order whose origins are lost in the mists of time, claimed that the power of the mind was so great that it could transcend matter itself. They knew that in order to master the outer world, they first had to master the inner world. Thus, their secret rituals focused not only on external knowledge, but also on the inner perfection of consciousness. As we move forward in time, figures like Giordano Bruno and René Descartes echoed these ideas, though in a more scientific way. Bruno, a Renaissance philosopher who was burned at the stake for his beliefs, proclaimed that the mind is a divine spark capable of shaping the universe, a revolutionary thought that led to his condemnation. For his part, Descartes, despite his doubts about the material world, declared with his famous cogito, ergo sum, I think, therefore I am, that the mind is the foundation of all reality. Although he did not fully understand the mind's transformative power, his statement marked a milestone, granting the mind absolute power over reality. The story of the concealment and suppression of this truth extends into modern times, where quantum science has begun to reach the same conclusions as those mystics and philosophers of old in the 20th century. The famous double-slit experiment revealed that the observation of subatomic particles altered their behavior. This confirmed what the ancients already knew. Reality is not fixed, but in constant flux, depending on the mind that observes it. So, instead of being passive spectators in a predetermined universe, we are the creators of what we experience. This is the secret the powerful feared, the knowledge they tried to destroy through the centuries. And although the inquisitive minds of history sought to bury it, modern science is finally beginning to uncover what the ancients already knew. The universe is mental, pure, and your mind has the power to shape it. Now that we have traced the path of the ancient sages, we arrive at the key moment of our exploration, the essential truth that the universe is mental. What does this mean? And more importantly, how can we apply this knowledge in our lives to transform our reality? To begin, we must understand that the mind is not just an organ in your head. nor merely a function of the brain. In the deeper context of this teaching, the mind is a cosmic force present in everything that exists. The ancients knew that everything, from the smallest atom to the most distant stars, is imbued with a mental vibration. This allowed them to claim that the entire universe is a manifestation of a universal consciousness. Imagine your mind as a frequency or vibration. Each thought, each emotion is a wave of energy radiating into the cosmos. Just as radio waves transmit invisible signals, thought and emotions also generate waves. But these are not limited to you alone. They affect the very fabric of reality. The philosopher and scientist Ernest Holmes explained this simply. Thoughts are things that become physical events through mental vibration. If this idea feels striking, it is because we have been taught to believe that events in the material world are independent of us, external, and mostly beyond our control. But the key to this teaching is precisely the opposite. The physical world is nothing more than a manifestation of our collective mind. Everything you see, everything you experience is the direct result of humanity's collective thoughts intertwined with your own and with universal vibration, according to the Hermetic law that states, as above, so below. As within, so without. Your inner world influences your outer world. If you hold thoughts of fear, doubt, or scarcity, you tune into a frequency that attracts those very energies into your life. But if you cultivate thoughts of abundance, gratitude, and trust, you will begin to see how the universe responds accordingly, reflecting those vibrations in tangible ways. This is precisely what spiritual teachers have taught throughout the centuries, that to change the world, we must first transform our minds. Meditation, conscious thought, and positive affirmations are tools that allow us to harmonize with universal laws, like tuning a radio to catch a high-quality station. The key lies in recognizing that you, like the universe itself, are vibration. And once you understand this, you will begin to see how the mind not only reflects reality, but creates it. As we explore further, it becomes essential to understand how to apply this powerful truth that the universe is mental in our daily lives. How can we use our mind, which is deeply connected to universal consciousness, to transform our reality? The answer lies in understanding the fundamental principles that govern this connection. And the first of these keys is the law of vibration. Every thought, every emotion, and every action we take generates a vibrational frequency. This frequency is not abstract or intangibly, has a direct and real impact on our surroundings. If our inner vibrations are aligned with thoughts of abundance, peace, and love, that same vibration projects outward, attracting more of those same energies, to our lives. In this way, our mind does not only reflect what we see, but also acts as a magnet for what we experience. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you constantly feel fear or worry. This emotional state generates a frequency of scarcity or lack, which can attract situations that reinforce those feelings. But if instead you cultivate a positive mental state, full of confidence and gratitude. You begin to attract opportunities that help you prosper. Vibration is not something outside your control. It is something you can master. The inner work you do every day, from meditating to changing your thoughts and emotions, has the power to adjust your vibrational frequency. This adjustment is not only metaphysical, but also practical. By focusing on elevated and positive thoughts, you can tune your mind to your highest desires and goals. One of the most fascinating aspects of this teaching is the power of intention. Intention is the conscious act of aligning our thoughts and emotions with a clear purpose. When you set a strong intention with the energy of your mind, that intention becomes a seed that begins to sprout in physical reality. The key lies in maintaining constant visualization, focusing on what you want to achieve, and believing it is possible. Think of this concept like an artist creating a masterpiece. Before beginning, the artist has in their mind a vision of what they want to create. Through each brushstroke and each detail, they transform that mental vision into material reality. Your mind works in the same way. What you see and feel within begins to materialize in your outer world. By understanding that your thoughts and emotions are energy projected into the universe, you can begin to consciously take control of what you experience. If you want prosperity, start by filling your mind with thoughts of abundance and gratitude. If you want peace, focus on inner calm and serenity. Everything you need is already within you, waiting to be activated by your mind. However, thought and intention alone are not enough. For the law of vibration to fully express itself, it is crucial to take action. Opportunities in life do not always appear as we expect. Sometimes the answers come through the steps we take with confidence in the daily actions aligned with our higher thoughts. This process becomes a cosmic dance where mind and action unite to create the reality you wish to experience. You cannot expect everything to happen just by wishing for it. The universe responds when you align with its principles and move toward your goals with faith and determination. From all this, we can conclude that the universe does not only respond to what we think, but also to what we feel and do. The mind is the spark. Action is the fuel that ignites the fire. Now that we have understood how the universal law of the mind connects us with the creation of our reality, it is essential to apply these principles in practical ways in our daily life. The true magic of understanding that the universe is mental lies in how we can use this awareness to transform our personal, professional, and spiritual experience. Now, let us explore some concrete ways to apply these teachings and achieve tangible results. 1. Creative visualization. Visualization is a powerful tool that connects the conscious mind with the universal mind. By visualizing what you desire, you send a signal to the universe about what you want to attract. This process is not just about imagining your goal in detail, but also about feeling the emotions associated with it as if it were already real. Imagine you want to succeed in your career. If you visualize your goal clearly, focusing on the feeling of accomplishment and gratitude, the universe will begin to align to make that vision a reality. However, visualization is not just a mental exercise. It must be followed by conscious actions that move you closer to your goal. Each time you visualize, do it with intensity and conviction. This not only prepares your mind to receive, but also strengthens the vibration of your desires. 2. Positive affirmations. Positive affirmations are powerful statements you can use to reprogram your mind and attract what you want. If you believe that your thoughts create your reality, then by changing your inner dialogue, you can transform your destiny. For example, if you want to attract abundance, you can repeat affirmations such as, "I am open to receiving abundance in every possible form." This constant practice creates new neural connections in your brain, focusing you on what you want and moving you away from limiting thoughts. Affirmations reinforce the subconscious mind and act as a magnet of positive energy that attracts situations, people, and opportunities aligned with your intentions. 3. The power of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can hold. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, you send the universe the signal that you are abundant and fulfilled. This positive energy multiplies your blessings. Practicing gratitude daily is an effective way to raise your vibration. You can begin each morning or before bed simply by saying, "Thank you for the small and great things in my life." This habit not only improves your emotional well-being, but also connects you to the natural flow of universal abundance. 4. The law of attraction in action. As we mentioned earlier, thought and intention alone are not enough. Action is key. Without movement toward your goals, the universe has no clear way to act on your behalf. It is like planting a seed and never watering it. It is essential to make decisions and take practical steps that align with your goals and values. If your desire is to create a prosperous life, you must be willing to learn, invest time and effort, and stay focused. Remember that opportunities do not always appear as expected, but when you act with faith and determination, the universe begins to open paths. 5. Setting clear and specific intentions. One of the most common mistakes is not being clear enough about what we truly want. Specific intentions are more powerful because they tell the universe exactly what you desire. Saying, "I want to be rich" is not the same as saying, "I want to generate a specific amount of money in the next 6 months. Be through my business." This clarity activates universal laws to manifest your desire. Setting clear intentions gives you direction, focus, and coherence in your decisions. Still, it is important to remain flexible. Sometimes the universe has even better plans than you can imagine. Ultimately, the deepest change begins from within. Are you ready to apply this wisdom and transform your life? As we conclude this journey of revelations about the connection between our mind and the universe, it is essential to reflect on what we have discovered. If you have made it this far, you have taken the first step toward a deeper understanding of the reality around you. The truth is that the mind controls everything. Since ancient times, mystics, philosophers, and visionaries have known that reality is not a fixed fact, but a manifestation of human thought, the vibration of our beliefs, emotions, and convictions. Your mind is the architect, and reality is its creation. Remember that you are not a victim of fate or chance. You are the creator of your experience, holding the brush in this vast masterpiece of the universe. By understanding and applying these metaphysical secrets, you can radically transform your life, as no external force can limit you beyond the barriers you have accepted yourself. You have the power to rewrite your existence and manifest the reality you desire. But this journey ends here. Now that you know the truth about the mind and how it can shape your life, the next step is to put it into practice. Intellectual understanding alone is not enough. Real magic begins when you take action. You can start today to transform your subconscious, change limiting beliefs, and begin visualizing the future you desire. If this information has touched your soul and you feel the need to dive deeper, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Like this video if it has helped you open your eyes to new possibilities, and share it with those who also need to awaken to their own power. We are at a crucial moment, and together we can be agents of profound and lasting change in the world. Remember, the universe is speaking to you. Synchronicity has guided you here. Now you are ready to take full control of your reality. Act now, because the mind controls everything.